What is going on, everyone? 2 streams in one day. What could cause that? Well, some pretty big news today that dropped, and it dropped literally right after I finished my last stream. So I thought I'd hop on here, and I was on the phone with Foyet earlier today, kind of talking through some things, and we figured we'd jump in. So Foyet, first of all, how are you? Welcome back to the stream. It's good to have you here again.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me.
So let's see. We got some folks in the house. Alex is here. Ville is here. VA. So figured I'll address this head on. Here's the honest answer to whether I got fired or not. I don't know. I don't think so. No. So let me put it this way. Obviously, it's a tough day for folks, but I think what happened was they obviously went and told a lot of the full-time employees what was going on, and obviously the ones that they weren't going to be keeping. For contractors like myself, there's still a little bit up in the air. So I'm not sure. As it is, I was doing less and less recently. If you guys have noticed, there hasn't been a new lore for a while, so I don't know what's going on. But I did speak with Nate today, though. I did speak with Nate and the broader creative team. So he's obviously it's not a great situation, but he's still feeling very confident in where both Splinterlands the company is going, as well as where Splinterlands the game and all of its associated titles are going. So that was good to see, despite the bad news. But Foya, I figured I'll throw it to you. You've had a very keen eye. I feel like you've called a couple of things, not here publicly, but in our conversations. It was interesting talking earlier this weekend and then talking earlier today about some of the moves that the company was making. So does this surprise you? Does it not surprise you? How much of this is, I mean, we can get into the FTX stuff, even though we've talked about it. Obviously, there's no direct impact, but there is a significant indirect impact, if that makes sense. I think I was spooked, and clearly the team was spooked enough to make sure that they set themselves up for a much longer runway.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the company, I think like Agro said, October was a great month for them from a sales revenue perspective. I think Agro in particular did a fantastic job articulating and handling the Q&A and outlining the reasons. And I think both Agro and Matt, they're pretty conservative people. So I think they're taking the more conservative path and just kind of go ahead, instead of maybe perhaps doing a trickle, they just did a larger, like I think 45% or so, almost 50% layoff across the board, just to kind of ensure that they have a 14 plus month runway. And this is having, and also depends on where ultimately, I think they got a lot of investment in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So depending on where that falls, they may need to make further adjustments, and then hopefully they'll get the $5 to $20 million that they're looking for from outside investors.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get your thoughts on that. But to your point, just real quick, Agro mentioned several times that they're roughly like 50-50 Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but crypto and cash, and as you said, they're conservative, so I think that most of their stuff would not be in like your small cap coins, but in your Bitcoin and Ethereum, and even those are down 60-70% from all-time highs just a year ago.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be a forensic auditor to their balance sheet or anything, but if I had to guess, DEC not being pegged is a large factor.
And you've been calling about that. So another quick takeaway. Sorry to cut you off, but Agro said that was the most important thing. So you've been saying this since the first time we had you on the show.
Yeah, and I just wish they were maybe a little bit more transparent with the whales that had the nodes and the Rift Watcher, and I think maybe perhaps some things removed. Maybe it may not move fast enough or significant enough for them to even prevent or delay these layoffs. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they have like 14 to 18 months of runway. And what they want to do is add on or raise some capital. Anywhere between 5 to 20 million is kind of the range that Aggie was saying, depending on what they can get. And that would essentially bumped them up from like 14 to 18 months to 2 to 3 years. And
potentially,
yeah.
If you kind of conversely look at it, it's a protection against Bitcoin dropping below 10,000.
That's what they're preparing for, is essentially. Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, hold on. Let's catch up on some of the chat here. We got a lot of folks. I know there's going to be a ton of questions, guys. I don't know what we can or can't answer, but we'll try our best. Foyet and I both did catch the town hall though, so we'll see what we can do. Yes, I am just an independent contractor, so we'll see what happens. Harris, good to see you. Did not see the layoffs coming. Should we be worried? I'm actually much more comfortable with. I'm actually much more confident in the game now than I was a couple of days ago, because like literally for the past week, I've been very worried about FTX exposure. And now we know there's no FTX exposure, and they're taking steps to make sure that they have a runway. So it's not a great situation, but I do feel a little bit more confident in where they're at right now. They say they're going to keep using you. I have no idea. We'll see. Everyone needed here. They have sold some equity and raised capital within 6 months. Everything else is secondary. We have more than 6 months. Agro said 14 to 18 months, which of course, if Bitcoin nukes below 10K, then, that will obviously be not a great thing. So yes, 45% laid off. They're going to try to raise between 5 to 20 million. I don't know what they'll get, but Chuni's here to get more runway. They have more than 6 months as of now. So let's make sure we get that straight. Yeah, Bulldog, Bragger. There's a lot of folks that were gone, including the cybersecurity team, which on a phone call earlier today, you had mentioned to me, Foyet. So that was, I guess, surprising for me to hear, but maybe not surprising for you.
Yeah, it's usually the first area you cut.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like cybersecurity was cut. There was a lot of support that was cut, and again, big shout out to the support team. So obviously it's a difficult situation. What I think about though is things were on fire a year ago, and so now that things are a little bit more under control, there's some more processes in place. There might be some redundancy there. So that one I guess didn't surprise me as much as tough as it is, because those guys are on the front lines, every single day.
Yeah, definitely, and I think. Based on just some of my limited observations on Discord, there seem to be some roles that maybe are not clearly defined. There may be overlaps and things like that. So from that standpoint, I think, as sad as and unfortunate, I think the business needed to take some corrective actions in certain areas for sure.
Yeah, no, and to Agrod's point, this seems more preemptive than reactive. It's reactive to the fact that obviously I think FTX was a signal that this bear market is nowhere near being done, and potential contagion could last for months. But yeah, we'll see. So Alex, Discord was going nuts indeed. So will vouchers survive? I mean, who knows what's going to happen with vouchers? Yeah, they're just coupons. So wait, they only get 6. No. Okay. So Agro said buy DEC and buy PAX. Yes, he did. More than a year of capital. Yes, he specifically said 14 to 18 months. It seems they expanded too fast with too many things, and launches were not doing that good. It was only the recent launches that didn't do well. The Tower Defense PAX pre-sale went well. The Rooney pre-sale went well, and although that wasn't really revenue. And then the Rift Watchers
that gave discount.
Yeah, but GLG was the first time people looked at that and said, "Oh, okay, well, nobody's going to be speculating on on a underdeveloped game at this point, not underdeveloped, but undeveloped game." And then Rooney, I don't know how much more they were banking on Rooney, but we're not even at half the mint, so that could have been a lot of potential revenue for them as well.
Yeah, I definitely think they stretched Rooney. They increased it to 6,500. I think there's a hope there.
Yeah. So I think they made an oopsie by using Rooney sales to buy DEC, thinking it would get it to peg, but they were wrong now, and they lost their profits from having DEC. Well, see, Al-Rashid, that the thing is they need DEC. So Matt's actually talked about this several times. The team needs DEC to perform credit to or fiat to crypto swaps. So anytime somebody buys credits, they pay out on the other side, whether it's a sale or a rental, they pay that on DEC. So I think it's actually smart for the team when DEC was really low to buy it super cheap. Like that's the times when they should be buying it, right?
Yeah, and it would not surprise me if the team may have needed to liquidate some DEC today, and that's one of the reasons. If we looked across the asset category within Splinterlands, the game, SPS didn't drop by much. If you look at the asset, the cards themselves didn't really drop significantly, but the one area that dropped a lot would be DEC.
Yeah, DEC came down quite a bit, although it's fighting to stay above 0.0007, but it's not fighting very hard.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if the team went and bought some more after it dropped to a certain level.
Yeah, well, as soon as it dropped below 0.007, whatever it was, I went in and bought some.
Yeah, a lot of it would not surprise me if more people contribute to that.
Yeah, are you buying DEC then or not?
Yeah, if it's below the 0.007, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean, I think that's a fantastic deal, knowing that the company they're forced to get it to peg. So you're getting at least 20 to 30% return.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hold it. That can be almost 40 to 50% if they get it as close as they did last time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna hold it. I think that's the trick, right? The companies themselves have to acquire enough to maintain the liquidity.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, so Cryptomancer has what does he have? 65 million TC or something. So
he's got a lot.
Yeah, so if he's like liquidating a portion, there's a number of guys, the DC whales, rich list.
So I think so she's saying I think they made an oopsie by using marine. Oh no, we went over that. So they got 12 months of working capital. I've been saying 14 to 18. That's, I mean, again, I'm just repeating what Agro said. Twice in one day. I know, Brand Talk. It's been a crazy day. Yes, they did fire Bulldog. They fired their cybersecurity team.
They laid off.
Laid off. Sorry. Yeah. Fire
is kind of harsh, I think, because they didn't do anything wrong. I think those are especially. I mean, I watch many of Bulldog's show, and I've seen his posting. I mean, he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I caught some of his live stream after the announcement as well, and it was interesting because Aggie, this wasn't like an easy thing, and it sounds like, it sounds like, at least from what I've seen, also internally with the team, they're very appreciative of everybody that's there, and this was just an unfortunate business decision that needed to be made, with no joy in any part of it. Thrill of crypto. Isn't cybersecurity important? Yeah, you think so.
To a certain extent. Usually, like a young maturing company, they tend to use their technology dev and infrastructure team to support some of the security operations center and some of the controls and the audits and the mechanisms that go into it. So in terms of like maturing, the next piece, which is what Noda was hired to be the director of security, would be putting the larger governance, the policies and procedures, and some of the mechanism for consistency, and especially if you're planning to have a larger public debt or acquire more capital in order to go public, and things like that.
Yeah.
So you need to have maturity, but if you don't have the need for maturity, I think you can get away with using the dev and the infrastructure people. They have minimum security knowledge, and they know how to secure the infrastructure. It's just that they don't have the cadence, they don't have the repetition or the enforcement of the monitoring aspect of it. Yeah,
I've been saying this before many times. Like, Splinterlands just isn't big enough to have a target on its back, right? Like, I mean, the market cap is in the double-digit millions, whereas somebody was able to hack just the bridge, the Ronin bridge for Axie Infinity for like 600 million, right? So hopefully we get there, but hopefully by the time we do get there, there'll be, more company capital to invest further in a team, but that's the decision they're making now. What's your predictions for SPS, DEC, and card prices? You want to take this one first?
I think at some point, SPS will have to bottom because there's certain uses for it. The challenge is the value for the DAO itself. One of the ways you quantify the value for SPS, so it's like a $2 million valuation in the DAO itself, and then you kind of have to So SPS is like 35 million in terms of total market capitalization, and then you divide that by the number of the SPS and the 900 some odd million, and then you add other utility, like you project maybe potentially getting 10 to 20% return from the GLX, and then if you were to add future games and tokens, depending how many you add, to kind of project, because then you're going to get another blended airdrop of SPS, GLX, and then the other token, the new token that'll come out, and then you add a bunch of use cases to it. So I could see it at 2 cents in a really deep bear market, or even below, just because there's nothing holding up, especially now with the shift from the liquidity pool from the DEC to SPS. Now you just have more of it going through. I just wish that maybe they did it in a staking way, but I don't know what Matt or the team previously thought about that. And I think DEC is, and then there's always to burn the SPS for DEC at the 0.975 rate. And then with DEC, it's a nice arbitrage play. So you can get it in that swing, and you're patient enough, you have a long enough time horizon, you can get pretty good. Like I think we talked about this card as an asset class that tends to be more inflationary, but
agreed.
Specific cards could be deflationary, like freebies, like reward cards, and specific ones that are in high demand or have really strong use case. They could be. So I think long term, with inflation and everything, card prices will kind of catch up over the generation, especially when Chaos Legion's no longer available to be sold. They just cap out, and then it becomes the higher, more expensive class for, you kind of have to evaluate the epic summoners and the epic categories for the Rift Watcher, and then the new Rebellion that's supposed to replace the Untamed and the Dice, and so we just have to look at it.
Yeah, let's see, Chuny, card prices, I have no idea. I mean, cards kind of go on their own thing. I agree with you, Foyet, though. SPS will probably bottom out at some point, but I think SPS is still very much determined by what's happening with the broader crypto markets. So, and we're still getting a lot of dilution right now, so that's definitely not helping. DEC, though, is an interesting one, because the team is fighting hard to get that back to peg, and you can see that they're using company assets to buy in. So my thought process now is you just laid off half the staff. There's capital that you freed up, in a sense, right? And or maybe it's capital you didn't have, but if there's some capital that you do have, is there an argument to be made for business utility to push DEC up with that capital?
I don't think so. I mean, if I'm them, I would hold that and reserve.
Just holding cash?
Yeah, for fiat, and
Okay. Interesting. All right. So let's see here. Chuny, what else you say?
Cash is king in the down economy.
Cash is king indeed.
And then just like Ray Dalio will say, cash is trash. And
cash is king and cash is trash. I know. They should sell equity, raise capital, and use it to buy DEC to boost their balance sheet. That's what I thought that they might do. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it a little bit.
But it's a terrible
sold
play. Yeah.
1.1 million SPS around 3 a.m. Who sold that much? They didn't put the video on YouTube. No, they did not. I think they're going to post it at some point. Hold on, Brand Talk, where did they sell it? Was this on Ethereum, BNB chain, or Capture on all these sales they have done lately that were in DC? They should start charging market price and just burn the excess. Yeah, so there's an argument to be made about like Rift. I would want them to change Rift Watchers to market price, because Rift Watcher packs are still being bought. And if you just change it to market price on DEC, we're going to be burning way more than 5,000 DEC right now. So yeah, I'm all for that. Or actually, no, we're not. We wouldn't be burning it. It'd be going into the DAO, but still. Did I get a Lux Vega? I did. The team is putting more capital in. Larry, I haven't talked to you in a while. Anyone know the reason GLX stopped claims and staking for a token? Yes, there was a bug that got exploited, and they're trying to fix it. And that has nothing to do with everything else that happened today. But I fully understand everybody who is like putting in all the stuff for conspiracy theories, but they were completely separate from my understanding. Yeah, it was just a very unfortunate coincidence. because I think you even mentioned messaged me that you were hearing rumors about GLX as being paused as a project, but that's not my understanding. So that's the transaction. Oh, I think you posted a link which I cannot see, but we'll check it out later. So if they're not affected by FTX, why are they reacting to FTX?
I think Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean they definitely have exposure to crypto, and I think FTX is what do they call it? Like the canary in the coal mine that leverage isn't completely done unwinding yet.
Yep.
After sound so will the Splinterlands team. As far as I know, Ola, I believe so. Sorry, let me not say it so like la-di-da right like that. I'm still waiting for more information. But the thing is, as a contractor, a lot of it is, well, we want you to stay with the team. And Nate was actually awesome about this, right? Like he said to the creative team earlier today, he was just like, he's like, I didn't work this hard for X amount of years to put together all these talented people to just like lose them, right? So part of it for him, I think, is what they're trying to figure out is like, okay, what does the creative output look like over the next couple of months? And that's still being sorted out. But it was really like I said, full-time employees that they had to sort out first, and they'll get to us later. So yeah, and as I've said, I don't know if they're like what the lower plans are or stuff like that, which is mainly what I've been doing. So I'm getting FTX vibes. I hope I'm wrong. I
don't think they're directly. I think they're honest,
I thought that they were quite transparent today, or as transparent as they could be. I would say many that got laid off will probably start liquidating cards, therefore market. Maybe. I mean, we'll see who ends up, sticking around. You look knowing they have 12 months. Yeah, that's rough. All right. So the issue with using company capital to raise DEC prices, you also created a bunch of downward pressure by admitting you are in a bit of a funding crunch. Yeah, I'm curious to know who sold DEC or who's selling DEC right now.
I'm sure the company has to sell a decent amount.
Well, Agro did say that they have to sell a little bit every so often.
Yeah.
And
today,
I'm assuming.
I think the last 24 hours was probably in particular. Yeah.
Why would you say the last 24 hours?
I think they need some liquidity.
Okay. So Bragger did say on Discord he'll be liquidating assets, but not all. Bulldog is not liquidating, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, no offense to either of those guys, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So you can take them at their word, but like let me put it this way. What am I trying to say? Like if Bulldog decided to liquidate all his assets, I wouldn't, hold it against him or anything. Like, how many of us are?
Matt already said that he, people can do what they feel most comfortable with. He understands.
What's up, Kolsker? Chuni, would you buy more assets tokens in the game before you hear they have been successful at raising more capital? That's a good question. How are you feeling about that?
I don't know. I've been. That's actually probably the number one thing I've been thinking about is where do I foresee capital, and then so I was actually expecting the cards to decline a little bit more instead of a few percentage points. I thought it would be dropping 10 to 15%, and I was actually just looking at just scanning to see if there are any good opportunities for me to pick up some cheap cards, but I didn't see any. So if I had to guess, we'll just kind of wait to see what happens and how the market reacts to it.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, so I haven't been putting more capital into the game for a very long time. I've just been kind of recompounding everything and all my earnings and winnings. So I can't answer this one like in a vacuum. But I can understand the hesitancy to like wait until they have more capital. The thing is, like, even if we do go into a further downtrend, I have a weird like confidence in Matt and Aggie to keep the game running no matter what. Even if it's just the three of them, or them two and Nate and Cryptomancer or something, which obviously wouldn't be the best case scenario. But one of the things that I think about when answering this question for you is something that you and I talk about, where it's just like, is there another game in the space that is doing what they're doing right now? Is there another like Web 2.5 game that is as successful and has as much potential. And I think in your research and my research independently, it doesn't seem like it. So I'm
Macroeconomics.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they will find, capital somewhere. So I'm actually not worried about that, but it is a good thing to bring up.
Yeah, and if I were to guess and extrapolate from the town hall, I don't think it's an issue for them to find capital per se, but I think it's how much or the equity are they going to give up to negotiate
to negotiate that. Yeah. Just taking a step back macro wise now, has anything changed for you now with FTX and everything we've heard of? Like, I have confidence in, or we'll call it maybe blind hope in the Bitcoin halving, mid 2024 being the potential next catalyst, or the latest catalyst to get the market back up and running, at least on the crypto side. So I'm curious, when you see the macro environment the way that it is now, how are you looking at this, and what is your worst case scenario in terms of how long this could go on for?
I think in terms of the effects that FTX has, I'm thinking maybe another 2 months before they kind of unwind and figure out all the pieces. I think every day we're learning a little bit something new. Like today, I heard that FTX was buying employees' homes in Bahamas or something like that.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. So I think it depends on what's going on, and what's interesting too is like FTX was the second largest Democratic donor apparently in the United States, and since Republican is most likely projected to take over the House, I don't know how that will be a factor, and things like that. So those macro pictures may kind of cause things to maybe not necessarily settle. They'll want to do investigations. They'll just want to push that. I think those are some of the fallouts. But I think maybe 2 months, and then we'll just be able to kind of gauge where things will go.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, versus you look at Lehman Brothers with 6 months, but I think what's nice about crypto and being on the blockchain and more transparent is that I think you have a more accelerated factor. There's more people conducting public research, and so there's a lot more data. And I think when Lehman Brothers took place, I remember it was more of like the media itself, versus now it's like social media, it's like Twitter, it's and I think when you're involving a larger number of people, humans, normal every day, doing investigative reports with certain close ties to, I think things kind of move a little faster than if you were to have outlets like Washington Post or Time.
True. Well, information definitely travels faster now, and I would say that even misinformation, disinformation, whatever it is, people are getting it right away.
So that was like 6 months, Lehman Brothers, and so I figured this is probably a lot faster. So I'm thinking 2 months.
Well, I guess my follow-up question to that then would be, the interest rates, or Fed's actions on interest rates is what I'm following most, right? And that is directly tied to where inflation is at. So do you think that we get inflation under control in the next 6 months, enough for them to pivot? And when I say 6 months, I mean like the first half of 2023 at this point.
Yeah, I think it's safe that majority of the people probably, when it gets towards the next Fed meeting, they're probably looking at 25 to 50 basis points increase.
Rather than 75.
Yeah, and I think the number of large companies that will announce layoffs, and I think even medium-sized companies, they're getting into it, and then so you kind of have that leveling where the Federal Reserve, Powell will just look at it and say that I think he'll start to pivot after that and think about it from a macro economy.
That's my hope too. I think people were really optimistic that there would be some kind of rally for the election, which never came because inflation was just too high. But
in total, you're still looking at 6+ months out. And it takes a while when
it takes a while to feel the effects. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm on the 18-month plan, right? Like I am like at this point, I'm waiting for the Bitcoin halving and hoping that the rest of the economy can figure it out by then.
Yeah, and I think it'll people will realize that this is why Agros and Matt, they probably decided to go for investors, additional funding, capital, just in the event that Bitcoin does decline significantly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, so Butters, what's the zig while others are zagging? Maybe get into my DEC position. I moved into LTC as soon as I saw Matt's Discord post. Yeah, I mean, I bought some DEC when it dropped, but that's
for the game. If you have any assets at all, you have to believe that the DEC has to go towards peg at some point. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the safest place I like is the DEC LPs.
We can't have land.
Yeah,
if DEC is not peg, you can't have the non-card market.
Well, you can, but it's just that's not. I don't know. That's not what the team wants. The thing is, there's still so much DEC
the algorithm doesn't work. The trade, the back end
on the back end. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe, is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that what's holding it up? They have it only set for peg. That would be so terrible.
Well, you can't. I mean, think of like Web 2 games with land. It's pegged to the U.S. reserve currency.
True. Okay.
So if you can't have it, then you would have to create a separate market, and then you have to add some ratio.
We just need to burn a ton of DEC because it's just sitting there. Adam's back. This game is going to go to 0. Adam, I just want to congratulate you because you haven't been here in so long, and you used to be so bearish on this game. So today must be a happy day for you. So I'm happy for you, even though I disagree with you. But I'm glad to see you're back to say I told you so. I've been selling DEC as it goes to 0.8, 0.9. I mean, that's the trade many people are making, right? Like
that's what I'm doing too.
I just bought under 0.7 what it is, so that's an easy 10%, or 20% flip that I can make, and that's not helping the game, but it is helping your wallet.
Yeah.
So Brenda, SPS transaction was on PancakeSwap BNB chain. Well, somebody knew what was going to happen today. They sold a ton of SPS, but I will say SPS price has been somewhat resilient around 4 cents. I was expecting a major drop too, and I didn't have any liquid SPS to sell as soon as the announcement came up. So I'm selling anything I love, the DC opportunity. I will get my Max Modern deck at a better price than I thought. Cool, not selling. What's going on, Wild Hawk? Good to see you here. Cards going to be more stable than the tokens in my experience. Well, cards have the value right now and utility, unlike pretty much every token in the game. I think the potential is speculative. What's up, BB Omega? Anybody here bearish? I'm definitely not. I'm definitely feeling a little bit better after today because, like I said, 3 days ago, I mean, I was messaging you, Foyet, where I was just like, I don't know what's going on. The team's been really quiet. Everybody's messaging me asking if there's FTX exposure. I'm like, I have no idea. I got really worried. Now we know that they didn't have FTX exposure, and they're hopefully taking the steps to make sure they survive for the next 2 to 3 years. Please tell me they fired Chatter before they ever even thought about getting rid of Weirdbeard. Well, I think Chatter and Weirdbeard are both still there. So how can they be low on capital? They sold 10 million packs at roughly $3 a pop. What is that, $30 million? I
think it goes by fast.
Yeah, it does. I think he said they spend about $1 million a month, I think is where their burn rate is at right now.
Yeah, and I think with the new lawyer and the cost goes up.
Yeah. Oh, Wild Hog, did you just post this in Mav chat? Oh. I try to keep this channel away from all the Mavs or the team members. This is just my little secret corner here where I can talk. I appreciate you sharing.
No one got fired.
Yeah, no one got fired. People got laid off. So Stockjack is saying, if I could help, if it would help, I could put up one of my gold foil alpha frost giants for 20 million. I mean, that would definitely help. But I just want to know who would buy a gold foil alpha frost giant rather than equity in the company.
Maybe you have a better deal to get Matt to trade you one of his apes.
There you go. Yeah. 50 basis points. I highly doubt they'll do 0.25. Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to taper it off, but it'll still be a good sign. I expect Bitcoin to go to 7.5 next year. Is that where the low is?
Well, I don't know how much you guys followed the miners. So at 8,200 is the break even for the miners.
For the miners, yeah. Okay.
If it falls below 8,200, the miners will stop mining.
So isn't that the floor then?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically,
yeah.
But you also have a you go through the dark ages of I don't know if you remember the early days of Bitcoin. You basically meet people somewhere and trade them.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest problem like Bitcoin has in these wallets and these DEX and crypto in general, right, is that Bitcoin doesn't make it easy for you to trade Bitcoin, right? And it's so the friction is just extraordinary high. So that's one of the weakness for Bitcoin. And then if you look at like crypto and our gaming experience, and every single gaming experience you have on crypto, it's just extraordinarily high, the friction. They just make it nearly impossible for you, even though like they can make it easier on you, but then it's a cost to get the stage the game. They don't have the capital to put forth to kind of make it easier, and the on ramp and off ramp. And it hurts them too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, 7.5 is a little low. I was hearing 8 or 8.5 as to where it is, but
yeah, I think numerically, and then there's also the not to get into the whole thing, but the BTC having worked in the previous cycles, but going forward, it's just too small of a numerical impact. It's not as significant enough to cause the miners to be motivated.
The other thing too is the last 3 crypto cycles happened in a macro bull market, right? So if we do stay in a bear market for the next however long, it'll be interesting to see how the recovery ends up.
Yeah, and if we were to break down Bitcoin into like the 21 million, so you have 1 million is already owned and thrown away by Satoshi, right? So you're down to 20 million. So the United States government owns almost 3 million of those Bitcoin. So you're down to like 19. And then you have, then the top 20 Bitcoin holders. And then, then you add Grayscale, the second largest, or the largest one. Then you look at
MicroStrategy.
Michael say, you add all those people, right? You're really like struggling, and then you're talking about buying and transacting in Satoshi at that point, and then it's like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, this is always fun with you. I'm a big believer in infinity over 21 million, but I get where you're coming from. But we'll see. No. Stock Jockey, my hero. Stock Jockey's awesome. Yeah, Stock Jockey. If you could donate 20 million, that'd be dope. That would really, really help the company. I mean, you don't even have to donate it. You could just buy equity of the company for 20 million. Man, you know what's crazy? It's just like, I feel like in a bull market, 20 million feels like nothing. And here we are now. So most are expecting BTC to 10K, which means SPS might drop to $2. I mean,
I think he meant under 2 cents. I think it's like 0.19 and change, I think, or whatever that numerical number is. Yeah.
Ola, I cannot wait for the bull market or for the bear market where SPS drops to $2. That'd be awesome. So MicroStrategy is looking at 9K BTC bottom.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, if they get margin called, that would be awful.
I think they have a different coverage for their margin call, but yeah.
Well, they're also a company producing services, and they
make about 500 million in annual revenue for the AI. Yeah.
So they spend like 50K a week just on keeping the servers running. That sounds about right. It sounds like their biggest concern was keeping the servers running for the price it takes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's their number one priority, because otherwise we lose over 100 million in asset.
We don't have a game. Yeah. So, Virus, good to see you here. Let's see. Well, stream numbers say players care. I mean, I know the players care for sure. Maybe they can start selling blue check marks next to your player name, $8 a month. Actually, well, hold on. This will be interesting because Matt has talked about this.
You need a Rooney virus.
Yeah, you need a Rooney, but they want to offer some kind of subscription service, right? And I don't know what that is or what it'll give you, but
I think he's talking about card packs and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. That is going to be your true number of real players, people who sign up for a subscription. Because
I don't know. Bots will automatically
you
sign
think
up
bots
for
will sign up for
it. Yeah,
subscriptions?
my bots will probably sign up for it.
I mean, they have to offer a hell of a discount on something. I mean, what if it's just like on pack sales or access to whatever?
No, because you can always negotiate it then when they struggle. And worst case, you just buy the cards on the market. It's not enough incentive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. All is saying we need more FTX drama to get cheaper prices. I don't think you need more FTX drama. You're going to get more market drama coming up. One thing, another takeaway that I thought I'd bring up since we did catch up finally with the chat is Aggie mentioned a renewed, maybe not renewed focus, but just he mentioned once again the focus on B2B. And I got excited about this, like, I don't know, 6 months ago when it was first announced, because the idea of offering some kind of services to other companies or games that were going to come in and, they would require, SPS to be bought or be paid in SPS or something like that. I think it'd be really interesting. Right now, the player base is somewhat tapped out, I would say, or diminished or not engaged anymore. So I would be curious to know what are the companies that are potentially coming in and want to get pack selling services. That's one of the things that he mentioned, right? So being able to build a website from scratch with ease or with a template that they have now. But what are your thoughts on B2B sales and stuff that Splinterlands as a service can offer?
Yeah, I think that's probably job one for whoever is going to be. It might be 16-bit, it might be Chatter, it might be Dennis, their COO, but and Aggro. I think for those 4 or 5 guys, I think that's job one for them, because in essence, it's just redeploying tools that they currently have and modularizing it in a format that's consumable by other business entities. So I think one of the things that Hive doesn't do a good enough job of is marketing their blockchain and the value that their blockchain brings. And then the other piece that people always talk about is, well, Hive's lack of DEX structure, right? They have an informal community-based DEX, and that only gets you so far, because when you're looking at to transact and you have certain expectations, that just doesn't really work very well for the masses of business communities out there. So then it's like the layer 2 piece, the nodes, and I don't know how confident Matt and Aggro, Hardpoint, PJ, those guys, to be able to confidently stand in front of someone and just say, this is how the node works. And so, without those different components of it, then you're talking about the Hive keychain itself, that experience. So Splinterlands could potentially extend their support service to those, to kind of for passwords and your keychains and things like that, to kind of help support you, to support those types of B2B services. But I think that's an easy win for especially if you already have a Web 2 game, and it's a simple Web 2 game, and let's say you just got I'll give you an example. If you just wanted to bypass Google and Android and Apple's Apple Store, the 30% fee that they charge, so you can theoretically save that amount alone just by onboarding it to something like a Hive blockchain, and
true,
creating a parallel environment where you're no longer going from a mobile only platform. Now you're doing a browser-based structure. So I think going through a browser-based, what it does too, and it kind of questions the evolutionary curve for what a mobile device can be, and how much leverage do you want to build to utilize your browser to play games, and how difficult is it compared to something that's like a GUI based or the UI UX experience of a mobile app.
Well,
it's way cheaper.
It's way cheaper to build it browser based.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's where they're going, right? They've talked about this several times already, that they want to be able to just ship the code once and not have to create parallel code for.
Correct.
Plus,
it's just how you feel. But here's the thing too: if a user has an iPad or a tablet or something with a bigger real estate,
screen.
So then it becomes like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's only gotten much more common now, as well as phones becoming more gigantic. So
yes.
I think that there's definitely an opportunity for that. And I'm all for them bypassing, all the fees on the Apple and Google store.
But here's the thing: like, imagine on a one of the preeminent business device, a Microsoft Surface Pro laptop, right, or a Surface Pro device. So when you're looking at that and having that built-in architect, so instead of like necessarily completely exclusively linked to a Brave browser or something like that, and you say, okay, I'm open to working with Microsoft's Explorer, right? So their browser. So if you're extending it beyond the Brave browser itself, I think Hive, and I could be completely wrong, but Hive may only work on Brave browser. But if you change that whole architect and work with that, you could potentially plop it on a Surface Pro.
Yeah.
And that's almost as mobile as a phone,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can access it from anywhere on any device then at that point.
Yeah, and many of them come with its own internet if it's like you buy it from Verizon. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Alex is saying what they're doing is, I mean, they've mentioned it several times. I don't know what it'll offer. I don't know what it'll entail. And honestly, it was mentioned before they gutted their staff by 50%. So I don't know if that's anywhere on the roadmap now. In fact, actually, if for those who didn't see, let's go here. For those who didn't see the post, they can
also do something as simple as if you merge two Roonies, that gives you a free subscription. But if you, in the absence of having two Roonies, you can pay whatever $10 worth of DEC a month, and you get something similar. So at that price point, you kind of have to look at it as say, okay, it's $120 a year. If I'm going to be stuck with this game for the next 2-3 years, okay, I'm going to suck it up. Merge. So I think that's kind of the use case.
Yeah. Well, go burn a Rooney, right?
Yep.
So here, this is what they're focusing on for next year, and I don't think this is in any particular order, but Land, Rooney, Tower Defense, Rebellion, SPS Validator nodes. This is the weird one, or these are the weird ones. New player experience. So I don't know what that entails, and somebody pressed Matt in the town hall for that, and he didn't have information. And then gameplay and reward updates. Now another thing that I think is worth mentioning that Aggie brought up is they are planning to do some kind of promo card as well. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I think that this could actually be something fantastic. But I've been pushing for a promo card that requires, DEC in its burn and make it common and sell it by one BCX, single BCX. So instead of doing that, it sounds as though they are going to do a promo where if you buy packs, you get a promo card with each pack. And I'm wondering, well, if you want, basically, that's going to incentivize pack sales like crazy. And if you think about
depending on the card,
depending on the card, of course, but you're gonna have all of your hardcore players in Wales in this game. And I would say, let's put it this way: would you say that there's at least 1,000 players in this game that would want that card?
Yeah, I think I think almost every player can afford to buy a pack over whatever period of time that aggro is their promotional period. I think virtually almost every player can get one eventually through earning DEC, selling SPS, playing
exactly.
The game.
So
different ways.
So I guess the point I was trying to make is okay, so let's say it's a common card and you get one BCX with each pack that you buy. That's if there's 1,000 players in this game that want it, that are willing to buy 400 packs, maybe at once, maybe not. That's almost 500,000 packs. It's 400,000 packs right there. That could be eaten up when we only have, 3 million? No, 4 million left, 4.5 million left.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a worthwhile. It's something that, he can do it under the holiday umbrella for sure. But it's also going to delay people like me that I would normally pick up packs using my DEC. So I now because he mentioned that, I'm not going to buy any.
Yeah, you're not going to buy any packs right now.
Wait.
But see, I feel like stuff like this, I don't want to say that it's necessarily easy, right? Because obviously I'm not technical, so I don't code. But I feel like stuff like this should have been happening throughout the entire year, right? Like, and sure, maybe that disincentivizes pack sales during slower periods because you're like, oh, I'm going to wait until Black Friday, or I'm going to wait until Christmas, or I'll wait until whatever holiday that they might, throw something on. But to me, that just represents a huge opportunity
for those opportunities. If it's just a certain period of time, if it's like New Year's, well, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like now, I would be interested in buying packs just to get access to this card, or I would have to buy it at a premium from someone else who bought packs, right? So,
yeah. The nice thing is, it's limited. It's deflationary because it's only sold at a promotional period.
Well, and right now there's going to be what, 4 million BCX of it, 4.5 million BCX.
Well, I mean, you're just thinking about the chaos, but it's Riftwatcher and as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. All right, let's catch up on the chat here. So yeah, they can have season passes or something. That'd be interesting. I haven't been playing tournaments much lately. Can you like give a summary of everything they said? No. I mean, we're trying to cover as much. I mean, look, it's been a rough day for people. 45% of the staff laid off, but they are focused on delivering everything that they've promised. Doesn't sound like we're going to get new launches of anything soon. It seems like they're recommitted to delivering all the stuff that they have talked about and that they've pre-sold for. So Weird Beer Season Pass was one. Not sure what it included though. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, but it'd be cool. Guys, don't forget to brawl. Thanks, Clevin. Oh, and this is the first SPS rewards for brawls.
Yep.
So make sure you show up, because otherwise I don't think you get anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone knows everything is going down for the next year. That's why big people aren't buying. Everything is going to be... Sorry, I've never heard whales being called big people, but now I guess it makes sense. So everything is going to be cheaper in 3 to 6 months. I don't know if that's the case, but I am definitely planning for things to get worse. So what news will make you decide to sell out of SPS? Or are you going to stay long and just mark everything to zero? I don't know what mark everything to zero is, but what do you think? When would you sell your SPS?
That's a tough one because you're pretty much at close to bottom. I don't know. You kind of.
I think he's asking what would the team have to announce or decision that they would make.
They didn't get in capital. They didn't accept capital for whatever rate, and then on top of that, Bitcoin is inching towards 13,000, things like that.
Yeah. I wonder if they open it up to the community, because I know he said it's only accredited investors, but if he's so crazy, if they ran another Kickstarter just to see what kind of capital they could raise from the community.
An accredited investor could easily accept money from the community and do it that way too.
There's got to be some kind of legal stuff that they're going to have to take care of first, though, don't you think?
Under the accredited investor person, they just have to, they'll fill out a form and go through that process.
Interesting. Okay, so now we just need
depending
to find
on
one,
the state that person is in.
Yeah, we just need to find one accredited investor who we can start a Kickstarter with.
Yeah, and you just have to,
I just want, if somebody wants to run a Kickstarter, I just want to donate so I can get the I Saved Splinterlands t-shirt. That's all I want it for.
So you're going to give your money and for a t-shirt.
For a t-shirt. That's all I want. A whole bunch of employees quitting Twitter right now. What's going on there?
Yeah, actually, it's a struggle. Another interesting case.
Another interesting scenario. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to get into it here, but I think we've talked about it already. I've become very bullish on Twitter now. So if you're not emphasizing the mobile experience, then you're failing miserably. We polled our organization of 2,500 people, and only 20% owned a PC. They all relied on mobile devices. Agreed, William. Well, again, they are focusing on mobile, but just not the mobile app experience. They're trying to make the mobile browser experience as good as the PC browser experience. So what's the subscription we're talking about? Nothing. It's all speculative. Go to the Rooney post. That is going to be your best. That's going to be your best information. So only 20%. Well, we told them to fix the mobile time and time again. It's admirable how Aggie stuck around to answer the confronting questions. Business owners should take note. It's definitely not easy. Yeah, I mean, I thought he did a good job, answering
Yeah.
what he could. So he had to do that to prevent a bank run. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people who have probably too much blind faith in Splinterlands, but they couldn't add things to the game until they did tech modernization, which is now live. Although you think that there's still some bugs in tech modernization, right?
Yeah, I think they're still gonna do some small releases.
Small releases here and there. Well, that's normal.
And then how you define the stack for tech modernization. So I think when you look at the non-card market, and I'm not them, I never looked at them and never sat in, but I'm just picturing myself if I were to go through that life cycle for the product development side of the house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so they should make all reward chests just SPS and cards to reward the players to stick around and play the game, or really reward brawl players. Well, if you get into a good guild, what guild are you in, by the way, Foyet? Are you in a guild?
Yeah, I'm in the YGG Legion.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, YGG. Are you guys tier 3, tier 2?
We're tier 3 for this.
Nice.
Guild,
okay.
This particular brawl.
That's where the party is now, unless you can get into tier 4. There are so many ways they could raise small amounts of capital without a huge outlay. Brantalk, you should be talking to them. Let's find a way to raise some money. Seasonal promo cards may work. Seasonal events get me engaged with my other crypto related games. Give me something to work for. I know people here don't play decrops, and you guys always thumbs down my decrops content when I put it out. What'd you say?
We still do.
But like decrops, it's one dev. And he's running a Halloween event right now. I'm sure, he probably wanted to run it in the month of October, but he's running it now. And I look at that, I'm just like, come on.
I hope he and the turkey and Santa Claus didn't cross each other. So,
well, I'm just saying, I really wish we could get more seasonal stuff from Splinterlands.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's a hit in many parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. So I'd love the chance to buy some equity. I don't have much in liquid funds, but a Kickstarter is doable. I don't think they're going to do a Kickstarter. That would take them back to 2018.
No, it has to be done by an accredited investor, and
yeah.
they have to be willing to go through all the scrutiny.
Yeah. Sent you some ice cream money. Oh, thanks, Wild Hog. Appreciate you. Sorry, I don't have the game pulled up right now, but I'll go check it. Furious Chicken, what up, what up? Splens considered as security will be SPS bottom. Yeah, where do you see the regulation coming in now? I mean, because there's definitely more scrutiny following the FTX drama.
Yeah, I think the big crypto will fall into that scrutiny. I think the little one, like Splinterlands, I'm not sure where they would fall in terms of regulatory piece.
It's not worth their time to come hunt down Aggie and Matt yet.
Yeah, I think that there has to be some base framework, but this goes under the small business umbrella. And what do you do with small business? Do you want to regulate them to death? It's so I'll translate this to the Sarbanes-Oxley. I don't know how people are familiar after the whole Enron debacle with the whole publicly traded company having public debt, and they fall in certain. So there are the vast number of large public companies who have the financial means to demonstrate financial competencies, and banks. It's just like what we had talked about, proof of reserve and things like that. That all gets bundled under the Sarbanes-Oxley financial audit, and then there's a technology control aspect, the governance piece of that. And in terms of the internal control over the technology component of the security, you have what's called the Sarbanes-Oxley 404 Lite, which is just for smaller companies, and they have to comply by the what's called the PCAOB standard, the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, and they regulate and they monitor, but there are different levels of standards. And then even the CPA firms, you kind of not really deal with the big four CPA firms, you deal with the smaller tier CPA firms. So there's different standards. So with crypto, it'll eventually be like that. So Congress will heavily regulate the larger crypto piece, and
wouldn't that trickle down then eventually?
Yes, it would trickle down to some kind of light regulatory standard. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking as soon, like now that Ethereum is proof of stake, as soon as they say something about proof of stake, that's going to trickle down.
Yeah, that's going to be a large conversation. I think, this is what I fundamentally believed about Ethereum and Cardano, Charles. Between Vitalik and Charles, I think they're two of the more brilliant people in our space, and they're two of the people that will probably carry crypto for the next generations of investors and tech people. So I think they'll figure out a way to, even when Sam Bankman-Friedman was having conversations with Vitalik and things like that. It's positioning, right? And I think they're two of the smartest people that will figure out how to position their platform and their blockchain to be successful, no matter what the regulation is.
Yeah, true. Well, Bitcoin Maxi Me says it's Ethereum and
you don't have a sponsor. You only have Michael Saylor.
Whatever. Ethereum and Cardano are just shitcoin number 1 and number 2. Maybe. It's so funny to me because I've listened to a bunch of interviews with both of them actually, but I find Charles Hoskinson to be brilliant and actually like enjoy listening to him and his perspective. Yet I've never bought, or at least currently I don't have or hold any ADA. So I don't know why that is, but I think he's brilliant. Obviously, Vitalik is great too. So.
He's an engineer, and he speaks. He doesn't really say things that will necessarily make a lot of people happy a lot of times, and he's not going to speed up his projects, and he's just going to take risk and try different things. Like the African project and things like that, right? So he's just going to try stuff, and he's just going to take lesson learn and incorporate into his flywheel, and he's just going to take his time. Investors don't like that.
No, they don't. They want it now. If the Splinterlands community will show you anything. All right. Alex is saying that he thinks they want to go public. I think
that's what Agro said. Yeah.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. Well, no. But
I mean, eventually, but
it surprised me, and I'm not sure if Agro used the term public in the traditional sense, like an initial public offering type, being listed on the NASDAQ or something. I wasn't really sure what to take of that, but that was one of the things that Agro had mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I guess I missed it. Is Foyet a reference to Criminal Minds?
So that came later that I found out about it, but this was just kind of a childhood friend. Yeah, we learned how to speak English together.
All right. So the original Foyet.
Yeah.
So they probably want to go back to roots, game dev instead of marketing, while bear market. Yeah, I mean, I know I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way when I posted on Twitter. I was like, the game doesn't need new players right now. It just needs better features. So
I think players. We have bots.
Yeah, it's this unlimited new bots.
Yeah.
I think Splinterlands has a use case so they can say they are a game. I think regulators will go after no utility tokens and coins. Sure.
Yep. That's games and it's historically have always been a protected shell. Yeah.
They're definitely a better spot than these other projects that don't know what's going on. So, well, in fairness, SPL actually laid off pretty late compared to other companies in the crypto world. I don't even know. Did Axie and all these other top games? Oh, somebody sent me something about Star Atlas laying off people too, right?
Yeah, I think so. And also what's unique is that we're talking about DeFi games. So they're kind of in the finance. It's the first time that a video game has kind of entered into this arena.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I think regulators are going to have to kind of take baby steps.
Yeah, for sure. Move to Portugal. No crypto regulators there.
Not yet.
Shuni's saying BTC is a commodity, not a security. Yep. Tax like bond will be regulated by the CFTC. Yeah. SEC, I think is.
Well, that's what makes Bitcoin have longevity, right? Governments of the world, they can back it using that, and they can leverage it to back their currency.
If stablecoins have to have 1-to-1 in dollars, wouldn't banks need to do that?
If it's in their U.S. reserve currency, yes.
Yeah.
But we're dancing around stable coins. That's why they're called stable coins, because we try to tie it to anything that we think can hold it stable, including products, including other tokens.
Yeah, well, everybody's waiting for the tether shoe to drop, right? So.
Yeah, and you look at DAI, it's the same way. It's a blend. Yeah.
Well, isn't that like 40% backed by USDC? So it's like pretty much like 40% centralized for a decentralized stablecoin.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the whole thing with the the Apple iPay and stuff like that. So
No, I didn't.
I think if I had to guess, it's probably the USDC will be the US central digital dollar coin.
Gotcha.
Because they're doing tests with Circle, the company.
You think they would just work with Circle rather than issuing their own?
Yeah, because they've already
the technology's there already, right?
Yeah, and they've already signed with MIT, which is the university that founded Circle and the USDC. So there's already a heavy investment in some of the brighter minds in the country, some of the applied mathematicians, and so I think the question is, well, are you going to achieve anything better?
Yeah, true.
And you're still going to use the same university and the same group of people.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because there's no one with better intellectual capital at that point.
All right, Icy Flows in the house. Alex Bernard, what's going on? Did I make the cut? Again, I'm not sure. I don't have any clarity yet. I'm just a contractor, guys, so I don't know what's going on with that yet. But hopefully, I can still make some music for him. Jarvy's in the house. Jarvy, would you like to join us and chat? I would love to get your thoughts. You've been in this space and with Splinterlands for a while. If you want, you're welcome to hop in. I can just shoot you the link. Virus is saying Star Atlas had big holdings in FTX. That would do it.
I think it's the other way around.
FTX had big holdings in Star Atlas?
Yeah,
they backed them?
Yeah. I think that's so. It's one of the beauty of like what CC's doing with Binance too, is that it's a requirement. I think it's a struggle, and Agro didn't really get into the whole conversation of being listed on Binance and what it takes to create liquidity within these exchanges.
All right, Jarvie, I just posted a link, so if you click that, you should be able to hop in. Is that Mr. PKM? USDC is a blank piece of paper that can be used for many things. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so let's see how everybody's cheering for Jarvie. Let's go, Jarvie. I had a chance to chat with Jarvie for the first time at Splinterfest, and that was fun.
Nice.
Do you use Peak Monsters? You're gonna have to lie now and say that you do, because Jarvie's about to hop in.
I use it to check my rentals.
You choose to check your rentals. Awesome. All right, let's go. We're gonna add him in. Jarvie, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. I was just playing my first guild brawl in many, many months, trying to help out because it was tier 4 guild. So I was I'm gonna give this a shot.
What's your?
So
what
I had to use my own. I had to use my own renting system, and I was like, we got some things that we need to improve upon.
Cool, man. Well, I figured we just have you on first. If there's anything you want to talk about, cool stuff that's happening with Peak Monsters, but secondly, and probably more relevant for today, just you've been in the Splinterlands space for a while, so if you had any thoughts, I think people would appreciate where your head is at right now and how you're thinking through things.
Okay, so my internet's still pretty good, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I use Starlink, so sometimes I'm parked under a tree and sometimes it cuts out. But yeah, been around since day one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to the whole message by Matt and Aggie, and it was quite good, and they were very open and clear, and I don't know, I connected with their message, but I heard a lot of questions in that town hall that were kind of like repeating something that they had just answered, which just means that people are worried.
Yeah.
And they were, I guess, at times unwilling to like listen to the answer because they were just so concerned and fearful. And it's like, he just told you the answer, but I was like, I guess they're just worried.
Yeah.
It's like the answer isn't enough. They want to have that reassurance, then they're not going to get it from just that.
Yeah. And also there's been so much, there's so much that goes on inside the Discord and chats that it's just like sometimes in their mind everything's just all over the place, and and maybe the message isn't communicated well, but I feel like they did a good job at communicating why, and that they were doing this all so that everything could be very stable for the foreseeable future, not because they were in a panic mode, but they wanted to make sure that everything was stable and that people were looked after and their assets were looked after. And yeah, so, I mean, coming from a company that literally has like, it's just two of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's also sometimes we're like, what do they do with, all these people? I wouldn't even know how to use 100 people. I mean, we do pay like, some people to do some some support stuff on Peak Monsters, but it's like, if you added up all three of the people that we do, it's probably the same as what Splinterlands pays on one person for half time. Like, it's literally not much at all, because we have so few things, thankfully, fingers crossed, that we really just have very, very little on that side of expenses. So I don't know. It's just also like, to me, it's like, I don't know what's going on here. It's so, I hope that they don't have as many support tickets these days, and hopefully that's a big aspect of it.
The support one made the most sense to me because, when I joined a year ago, support was like on fire. And one of the things that, Hardpoint kept talking about in the town halls was how the support team kept on whittling down stuff to the point where now they're getting ahead of it. So like, that's one of those things where I'm like, okay, that made sense a year ago or a year and a half ago. And now they're at a point, obviously, shout out to the support team for doing such an awesome job that in a way, they almost became redundant because of it. But, that made sense to me. Again, I don't know. I'm not technical, so I don't know how the engineering side works, whether it takes one person or three people.
So the other one was, in the very beginning, he talked about the number of devs, because that's what I was very interested in, that at some point they had like 23, I think he said, and now they're down to something between 17 or 19. He kind of mentioned there was a couple of contractors.
Yeah.
From 23 to 19, that's not a big reduction. So maybe people didn't read between the lines there, and they're like, what is this going to get done? Is this going to get done? And you're like, dudes, it only went from 23 to 19, if what they're saying is true.
Yeah, well, the fact is, from the post, right, initial post, it sounded like their focus was on just delivering everything that they have been talking about, right? Land, Rooney, all these things. So making sure those features come to light are brought into the game. So, I guess I was never worried about that. And again, I don't know how to evaluate the numbers from a technical perspective, but yeah, you're right. I mean, 23 down to 19 or 17 isn't the end of the world.
As far as Peak Monsters, another thing is we have like two other projects, right? Peak D, and we have Peak Open projects, which is various open source projects for the entire Hive community that should be used by other Hive applications. They're not just for us. And so what we did earlier in the year was we did that funding, and we put some time, our small team, into that. And we have like 4 or 5 other developers that are all part-time working on those things. And so it's been really good, because obviously Peak Monsters investments that we've made aren't doing so hot, so we don't really want to cash them out right now.
Yeah.
And so it's been really nice, because the proposal that funds Peak Open helps fund our team. It's basically the team being 2 of us, right? Me and Asgarth. And so that all comes in through HBD, which has been very, very stable, extremely stable, immensely stable. Like, it's usually always at $1, even though you look on exchanges and maybe they're trading it somewhere else. But in the internal marketplace, it's $1 almost every single day. It is always $1. And so we get paid in that. So it's been like, luckily we did that earlier, so we're not having to like cash out, because what we don't want is for Asgarth to have to go back to a full-time job. That would suck. So
yeah, That makes sense. Foyet, I'm actually curious. I've been meaning to ask you, what are your thoughts on HBD as a stable coin? Have you looked into it?
I love it.
Oh, you love it? Okay.
I think it's great, and I think it gets a bad rap because people look at it on other exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been so much more involved with it because one of the open projects that we've done is a new interface for the internal market between Hive and HBD. And so it shows how much liquidity is there and what's the depth. And there's a great limit and order protocol. It lets you change to different, like sources to understand what HBD is worth, right? If you are looking at what is Hive worth, like from CoinGecko API,
mm-hmm.
then we'll tell you what HBD is worth because of what it's trading on in the internal market. And that's what I'm saying. I know this may go over some people's head, but it's at $1 all the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're doing that while we're printing quite a bit for proposals right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're giving out 20% on the API on the savings account for HBD.
I'm surprised it stayed that high for that long.
There's a couple of witnesses or validators, top 20 validators. I hate the word witness, by the way. That's so dumb. But anyways, that would like to see it lower. I think it's fine. I think what we really need is for there just to be more HBD in existence, to be honest. Mm-hmm. There just is so little.
Yeah, that's. I think that the two things that pop up when I look, and I didn't really look at it in details, but the two things that pop up is the 20% the APR, and then the second piece is the liquidity risk.
Yeah. So I would personally like to see more liquidity on it, and obviously, I look back at the whole, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I wish, like we had put everything in HBD, 6 months ago and ran with that. That would have been really nice.
Yeah, and I wish there was a 0.25% tag to transfer from the Hive. The Hive blockchain itself, the Hive engine.
How much are you paying?
2.25, I think.
Oh, 0.25. Yeah. Okay.
There's a fee to transfer it back and forth.
Cool. Well, I know that Gank and Walking Keys are going to come on any minute now, and I wanted to make sure that I caught their show and that we didn't overlap. So any closing thoughts, Jarvie? Anything you want to shout out for Peak Monster stuff coming out? And then I'm going to rip through the comments one more time.
We had some Peak Open stuff this week, but then Asgarth's moving back into Peak Monster stuff, so hopefully we get a bunch of things figured out. Small little tasks, and hopefully we finish up with I guess your audience maybe doesn't know that we have auto renting pricing adjuster. We like to call ARPA, which is it basically you make some settings on Peak Monsters, and then it adjusts the pricing based on how the rental market goes up and down, and it'll just kind of keep all those cards adjusted. And it's just basically an early access phase.
So if anyone, I like that feature.
If anyone would,
I've been seeing people talking about it. So
if anyone wants early access, just message me on the Peak Monsters Discord. We're kind of giving early access to the premium right now, the premium users. But if you got a huge stack, we really want to test it hard. But there's also a few more features we want to integrate before we make it public. It's running just fine, but there's a few other things we want to do. So
gotcha. All right, cool. Well, you or Asgarth are welcome anytime to come on and show it off if you want, whenever it does go live.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, man. Appreciate having you on, dude. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Take care. All right, Foyet. Let me catch up on the chat here. Oh shoot, Jarvie, are you still here? This is the comment that if Jarvie makes a bot service, it should be called Jarvis. I 100% agree.
That's pretty funny, Virus.
Yeah, that would be great. They should totally get into the bot game. I feel pretty relaxed this bear market, but she'll hit this fan soon. Yeah, I don't think they're going to stop until more stuff starts breaking. Okay, Weird Beard. Dude, I love you, man. I don't know what's going on internally. I'm glad you're still there, and I will ride this esports thing with you wherever you want to take it, dude. I am just as passionate about it, and I would love to either work with you or help you in any way that I can, because to me, that is the future of the competitive side of this game, not anything else at the moment. Appreciate all the work that you do. All right, so 20 minutes behind, read questions. Okay, Wild Hog, I just checked this, dude. You sent me 500,000 DEC. Oh, okay, what do you want me to do with this? Is this for a giveaway? Because I mean, you are awesome. The generosity in this community continues to astound me. But that's a shit ton of DEC, and I don't know what it's for. So you have to tell me what you want me to do with it, because right now it's just gonna sit there. While I'm trying to overthrow Jackie for CFO title.
He did by a digit.
Don't tell Jackie. Yeah. Don't tell Jackie.
That's true.
Dude, actually, so Jackie's, well, it's funny because she's a BTC, not a maxi, but she like loves Bitcoin, and she's like trying to learn more about this game, and she's like, oh, should I jump in here and there? And I was like literally telling her, I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's going on right now, but you should probably just stick with Bitcoin for the minute. Diversify. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest in this game, but she I feel like is still learning it. And so it's like, if you're new to something, don't start throwing like tons of money in it.
Just get a few bots.
Yeah. Get a few bots. See, there you go. I'm scared. All right, what's going on? Rick on the Mountain. I just sold my entire collection of cards, and that's more DEC than I got out of them. Wow. All right, so capitulation is happening. Sorry to see you go, Rick on the Mountain. Thanks, Jarvis. Sounds like you're building an auto rental bot. Not going anywhere, just reallocating. Interesting. Okay. I'd also volunteer to help with tournaments. I think tournaments are going to be the thing. Yes, non-card market. Super excited for them to open. Oh, Jarvie, that's the one thing I wanted to ask you. All right, we'll have to chat again at some point. Okay. Oh, they just pushed the time back, so they're gonna start live in 2 minutes, and I want to make sure that I attend that. So burn it, help the company. Anything else here for me? Oh, dude. Okay, no, we're gonna have to do a giveaway, but I do want to sign off here and send everybody over to Walking Keys and Gank. What's up, Luthien? Aftersound DAO getting nice. All right, hold on. Okay, so, well, I won't talk about it, but we've been talking about some interesting stuff here. So there'll be some fun stuff happening. Holy crap! What is going on today? Thank you, Jackie. who messaged Jackie?
Alex.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too kind. All right, I don't want to interfere with NFT gaming and collectibles, because Walking Keys is the man and Gank is awesome. So you guys are awesome. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything with this, but we will. This DEC is gonna sit here, and we will find a time to go live and do some giveaways with it. So thank you to Jackie. You are awesome as usual. Thank you to Wild Hog for your incredible generosity today. Yeah, Luthien, we're just about to wrap up here. I'm trying to catch up on comments so I can get a final word from Foyet. But there is the CFO. What bear market? Yeah, it's turning into a fun competition here, I guess. But guys, there's still, yeah. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. This will all be turned into giveaways. So there's 500,000 DEC to give away on the next stream. And Jackie, thank you so much. Love the collab. Respect, man. Take your cut. Well, I appreciate it, Wild Hog. I will go and actually, you know what? For you, I will go and level up my silver level Yasik, because I need to get 2 more. So I will make him gold level so that I can play with him. Hype is real, for real. Okay, so Foyet, any final thoughts, man? This has been a crazy stream.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad that you're receiving the love, and yeah, it's been fun.
That's been nice. Sorry, I don't mean to downplay that. It's just this stream started off really serious and really sad, and now we're laughing at the end, which I think is a good thing. But we've covered a lot here. Let me ask you this, and this is something that Aggie brought up in Vegas privately, as well as during the town hall. But with everything that you're seeing, Do you want more or less? Are you investing more into Splinterlands? Are you taking some out, or are you just riding the wave and seeing where it goes?
I think I'm just continuing what I've been doing. If there's a good deal, I would get in on it.
Good deal, you get in on it. Are you open to saying like what kind of deals you're looking for?
Yeah, I think like DEC arbitrage is always there's always opportunities here and there.
Okay.
So I think that's always good. Certain card prices are good.
I know you do a lot of card flipping, but would you ever buy packs, or are you planning to buy any packs when it gets close to the end?
Yeah, especially with the promo.
Yeah, okay. The promo goes live.
Yeah. Right. So that might be a good deal. So in that case, I get in on it. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it here. I saw Walking Keys and Gank just went live. Make sure you go check them out. I don't think I can do a raid here like on Twitch, so just go show some support. They're going to be covering a lot of this stuff too. I am very curious to hear. I talked to Walking Keys earlier today, but I'm curious to hear Gank's perspective since he's been around the space for a while. But thank you so much for just hanging out tonight. I know this was not planned, and thank you to Jackie and Wild Hog for your incredible generosity, and to all of you guys just for hanging out. That's why I'm here. So it's just to chat with you guys, and hopefully we'll get through whatever the next 6, 18, 24 months end up looking like within Splinterlands. But I'm bullish. It sucks the news today, but I'm overall bullish. So, all right. Someone said you can raid YouTube now. I don't know how to do that. Hold up. Give me 20 seconds. And if I can't figure it out, then this will just be the most awkward goodbye. I'm going to have to learn how to do this because I would love to raid them. Stream health. Create highlight video, stream marker, share. No, I don't think there's a way to raid. At least not here natively in YouTube. All right. Well, sorry guys. This was just the most awkward goodbye ever. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.